So I'm taking a little nostalgia vacation to Earth, and I just wanted to try the ancient art of vlogging. I don't know how many of you remember this, but a couple hundred years ago, this was all a huge vacation spot. But now it's just kind of fallen into disrepair.
I'm Jon Finger, and I am a filmmaker that uses technology to empower storytelling. So I grew up painting a lot and drawing a lot, and got a hold of my dad's camera at a time when I basically needed 2 VCRs in order to edit things. I did some advertising, and in Viacom, I worked for a lot of years, and I used the money I made to pay for my own experiments in trying to use technologies in order to free myself to be able to tell big stories in fantastic worlds.
You might be wondering why I'm doing this trip in such a generic meat avatar. But if you remember, back then we had no AI body stewards, so you couldn't go travel infinity with something managing your body and taking care of it for you. You were really trapped in your physical and mental experience.
For the first sci-fi blog, the real thing was I just wanted to explore how these backgrounds could be really convincing. And so part of that is that I went out and just shot out on my porch, just filmed myself, blabbing basically about some imagined future, and how I could possibly view, either the current time or coming back to Earth after some wild future. I tracked the camera. I used the segmentation tools in Cuebric in order to basically have all these layers. That was, it's really a simple test, right? Because map painting is already a 2D system. So you're basically just generating a 2D background. And if you do a camera move that's mostly rotation, the depth, it doesn't have to be too dramatic on the parallax effects.
Why would I spend years traveling to Earth in such a risky form? Really, it's just, once you've had thousands of years of infinity to explore, limitations start getting really exciting.
Putting on TikTok specifically, something that is familiar to TikTok, something where it's, blogging. I just did something that was a pretty extreme seeming visual effect. There's a lot of, you see these guys that do the thing where they turn themselves into Spider-Man, they're swinging around and they turn, those kinds of things have become very comfortable on TikTok. There's not a lot where someone's in like some really wild set.
You might be wondering why I'm doing this trip in such a generic meat avatar. But if you remember,
the costume, I think, actually comically added a lot to the feedback, because a lot of the initial comments on that post were actually whether or not the costume was cool or super doofy. I think that got it some traction, and then because the hype train had started moving, people started weighing in on their feelings about the actual visual effects and that kind of thing.
Visiting this Earth Planetary Preserve really makes you ruminate on the past. It's crazy to think how terrified we were of a superintelligence. We just didn't understand that our malice and apathy were products of our limited mind. Our previous form factors would get so upset and worry about how their form factor compared to someone else's form factor. And
after the first vlog, I wanted to push the experiment further and see how far I could go with movement and depth. So I got an autonomous drone to film me for the second episode.
I spent 3 months with a dog named Breadford.
I was really trying to just see how far I could push the matte painting element into reality. So I think there's a few shots where you can see the road. Parts of the road are the real road, and then it blends into basically I selected the edges of that road and told it to turn into the new environment that it was generating. And so most of that is actually a lot of planes with depth maps generated by Cuebric and texture by Cuebric. And then that one, unfortunately, I think the downfall of that one ended up being that the drone's audio was pretty bad audio. The reason the second vlog was interesting to me is I was like, what am I going to test that's going to like make me feel like I gained something out of this? We see a lot of art, and we want to just go into it and just suddenly make the thing that is beautiful. And that's just not a reality. And it's actually kind of good that it's not a reality, because the fulfillment of creation actually comes from the growth of that process.